All right, welcome everyone. Glad to see you here. We're going to start with the call to order and a pledge of allegiance. So, okay, ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Harmony, verification of quorum.
Okay, Director Nathan?
Here.
Director Berringham?
Here.
Director Odell?
Here.
Director Poland? President Welty? Here. 5 present, quorum met.
Okay, we have the approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of November 5th.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, public official comments. We have a couple public officials out there. They're in, they're dressed for the holidays. So you're welcome. Jordan, come on up and.
$3719-384, Jordan Ehrenkrantz. I just came here for make a couple of quick announcements in regards to some of the city activities that are going to be taking place. Tomorrow night, we're having our city council meeting, and we're going to be doing a State of the City address. I promised to keep it short. I've got it down to about 4 hours right now, so don't shake your head at me, Jeannie. And that's going to be the highlight of the meeting tomorrow night. No, really, I came to talk about the tree lighting festival on Thursday night. We hope that we can do something as great as you guys did the other night. You know, the community really looks terrific, and that's nothing new. It's looked good before, but just want to tell you how nice everything looks, and I think that we're going to be able to do a nice job. Excuse me, at the, this is going to be at the Veterans Memorial in the town center. And I left about 200 brochures back there for all the people that are coming tonight, so that in case you haven't read about it, but we're going to have train rides, we're going to have gingerbread houses that the kids can make. We're going to have Santa Claus, of course. There's going to be an In-N-Out burger truck there. I think it's coming at 5:30. The festivities start at 4 o'clock tomorrow, or Thursday, excuse me. And we're going to have snow slides and a lot of stuff for the kids. So hopefully everybody will be able to come and enjoy themselves. And I would like a favor from, I don't know which one of you guys talked to the weather department, but if you know somebody there that can tell us that it's not going to rain on Thursday, we'd certainly appreciate that. So thank you very much for your opportunity to let me speak, and see you guys maybe tomorrow and Thursday as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other government officials? I think that's good. Okay, now we're moving on to presentation. We have a presentation by the Fine Arts. Harmony, do you?
And the Women's Club, I believe.
Oh, and the Women's Club. Oh, very good.
Ron Martell, 3868-198. Just a short, quick comment, and that's on behalf of the Canyon Lake Fine Arts Guild. I'd like to thank the POA for its support for the sound and lighting project that we initiated in partnership over a year ago. As we believe so much in this project, the Guild made it clear from the outset that we would provide a $10,000 donation, that it would be included in the project if we were able to move forward. Since then, the very generous Canyon Lake Women's Club has offered to add another $4,500 to further advance the improvements required for this venue. Therefore, we are all here, the Canyon Lake Women's Club and the Canyon Lake Fine Arts Guild. We're pleased and proud to present our offering to the board at this time. So if we can present that to someone here, we'd like to do that.
Sure. Does somebody want to take a picture? While we- So we've got a donation of about $14,500, and that's for the sound system in here. If you've ever been in here, it's not the clearest sound system. It's fine when you're talking, but when it gets a little into music, it gets a little not so clear. So we're excited that we're going to get some high-tech speakers. We're going to get some in the front. We're going to get some closer to the back, so the sound will even out. We got sound curtains. I don't see them in tonight, and we're moving ahead to make this venue just a great place to come and see and hear music and come and have a celebration or two. So thank you, guys. Okay, moving on, we have the consent agenda. Does anyone want to pull any of the consent agenda items?
I just had a question on page 35 on the vehicle.
Which you want to pull? Oh, okay, go ahead.
To pull C, and actually I think even D is kind of the same thing. It's just a question I have on the amount on page 35 is a different amount than what's in the,
So you want to pull C and D?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and cover A, B, and E.
Item C and D pulled.
That I'm seeing D pulled. Do I have a motion on A, B, and E?
I'll move consent items A, B, and E for approval.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
I
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, item C.
On item C, on page 35, there was a question I had on it says cash deal structure, doing delivery is $27,338. And on the other page 30, the fiscal impact was $25,480.59. Just a question, I wasn't sure if those numbers should match or not.
So we're talking page 34 and 35?
30 and 30 and
Okay,
31.
30 and 31.
And then 30 and 35, 34 and 35.
We have a recommendation that doesn't match the numbers on the invoice. Eric, you see that, or? On page 30 and 31, the numbers don't seem to be.
Over here's this and over here's this.
If you can go to
Oh, it's one of
page
the three
33
bids.
is the bid we want to go with. Page 33 is the bid we want to go with. We just included all three bids.
Oh, okay.
The 27,000 something was the highest bid, but we want to go with the lowest bid, which is on page 33.
That sounds good. And
Thank you.
it's the same situation you have on D? Is that-
Correct.
It's one of the
It's for
bids.
both vehicles.
Okay. You,
That's good.
okay, so do I have a motion on the items, a lot of paper here. C and D?
I'll make a motion on C and D.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Five in favor, motion carried. President Welty, if I can, Mayor Aaron Krantz just wanted to add a quick detail to his announcement that it is co-hosted this, the winter festival that they're having is co-hosted by the Family Matters Club. So we just want to make sure everyone knows.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. It's a lot of work, and I know that as much as the city likes to provide, some donuts and some trucks, there's also a lot of labor involved. I'm sure the Family Matters is doing a lot of the setup and organization, so I appreciate them. Okay. Board action item 6.1, CIP funding for new planning and compliance department vehicle. Steve, you want to come up?
Did we skip E? I thought that got pulled.
No, only C and D.
The Planning and Compliance Department is in need of a third vehicles for inspections of legal properties, staff support for stop work orders, setback inspections, placement of footings, and issuing lake transport permits. The vehicle will be used by the senior inspector and planning compliance senior manager. The senior inspector is responsible for the workload, inspection accuracy, and support of inspectors out in the field. Senior manager will be using it for legal review of distressed properties, board appeal investigations, and staff support. This vehicle will be a Toyota Tacoma to match most of the POA fleet. Fiscal impact is $25,480.59 from the CIP fund. Staff requests the Board of Directors to approve funding for the amount of $25,480.59 plus a 2.5% contingency from the CIP fund 05670.
Do I hear a motion?
I move approval of the purchase of a planning and compliance department vehicle using CIP funding. Second.
Do we have any comments from the community?
No, sir.
Okay.
I just have one question, Steve. Is this replacing a vehicle that they're using, or what have they used in the past?
No, this is, currently the Planning and Compliance has two vehicles. This is adding a third vehicle to their fleet. That's why it's coming out of the CIP funds. It's not replacement.
Okay, and planning and compliance hasn't had a vehicle at their disposal before this?
No, they currently have two vehicles,
Okay.
and they need a third vehicle. So we're requesting approval for a third vehicle for
Okay,
Planning
I
and
understand.
Compliance.
Thank you.
I think the third vehicle is, of course, this one, but the two before it are 10 years old approximately?
Yeah, they're coming up on 10 years.
Okay. We had a first, we had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Five in favor, motion carried.
Steve, not to let you go, we're on to 6.2, which is the CIP funding for 4 stationary speed radar signs.
It's been requested that we purchase 4 stationary radar signs like the ones that City of Can Lake has installed on Railroad Canyon Road. You can do some research online. I found there's a lot of studies out there, and pretty much how they work is they help train the brain. Just let you be aware of how fast you're going, and because a lot of times you're going fast and you don't realize it. And studies show that the longer these are out there, the more it trains, especially drivers that frequent those roads. There's studies that after 2 years that the speeding can become very rare on those areas. And these will be installed in such a way that be allowed to be removed and placed in other locations on our busy streets. Other local cities take this approach just to utilize it because they are expensive pieces of equipment. And so they show that this timeline is around every 2 years to move them around so you can make other drivers and other parts of the streets aware of their speed. We're going to be placing this in 4 locations. Like I said, we received 4 bids. Our recommendation is the second lowest bid, which is the same brand and model the city purchased for Railroad Canyon Road. Fiscal impact is $18,529.45 from the CIP fund. Staff requests the Board of Directors to approve funding in the amount of $18,529.45 plus 2.5% contingency from the CIP fund 05670.
Just one question. These will not give tickets, or they'll not register tickets?
No, they will not give tickets.
So these are just the informational radar,
Correct.
and you said they're very much like the city ones that we see on Railroad Canyon?
They are the same brand and model.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Harmony, we have any community comments?
No.
Board discussion?
I just have one question. Does this cost include installation cost, or is that something that's coming out of your operating budget?
It'd be coming out of the operating budget.
Okay, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, it says it has been requested we purchase. I'm curious, who made the request?
The GM.
Thank you.
And just to expand on that, it was at our joint city and POA meeting. It was brought up by some of our community members that we needed these. So that's why Eric took action on that.
Okay, I think that's outstanding. Thank you.
Many requests.
The other thing that I wasn't quite clear on, Steve, is I believe that the bid is on page 50. Maybe, Tom, can you show him page 50 there? And it lists a T414 radar sign, and your proposal is for a TC600. Maybe this isn't the right bid. And this bid is, unless I got the wrong one, but that was the one that had the number. And this bid is made out to the city of Canyon Lake.
Sorry, Director, will you repeat that?
Page 50, is that, this is the bid?
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
Cindy
You've got a different page 50 than I do, maybe? Because that's what my page 50
no,
was.
it does say the city of Can Lake, and it's just, they did a typo. They thought we were the city.
Okay, and then the other question I have is that it says it's for the T414 model, and you said you were going to be purchasing a TC600.
No, this is the bid what we're accepting. Director Poland, I don't see where I call out the,
Okay, that's fine, never mind. I'm good. The other question that I had, maybe this is a question for Eric, is how is this going to work with our speed cameras? Are they going to still be deployed the same way? Are they going to be deployed differently, or how does all this work together?
so the trailers will still be deployed as they are, correct, yes. They will be capturing photo radars like they currently do.
Okay, good, I understand. And I noticed in the write-up that there is a software in there that's going to keep track of the speed, average speed every day that they record?
Yes, that is.
And do we plan to put that in our system and keep track of what the average speeds are and be able to track what's going on?
That is something that we can do. Right now, we didn't have planning on keeping track of all the speeds, but we can implement that.
I'd like to suggest that would be a really outstanding metric for us to have a look at, to see what our average speeds are, because there's been a lot of, I've heard people talking about people driving too fast around here and the speed cameras are not effective, et cetera. So I just think that would be another good metric to keep track of. It seems that it would be very simple to gather that information and report it to us.
Definitely so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Any more comments from the board? We have a first and a second.
First, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
And Steve, you're not leaving tonight, so.
No, I'm going to be here for a while.
Approval for reserve funding for operations tractor replacement.
The operations tractor is 18 years old and is overdue for replacement. It is constantly needing repair and having issues. The current tractor is a 2001 Firmec with 7,200 hours. Some of the repairs include, it's just mechanically worn out, it needs new bucket, needs new front drivetrain, constant electrical issues, needs new starter and ring gear, needs new warning module, tractor shuts off without warning intermittently, all hydraulic hoses need to be replaced, the transmission clutch shifter is worn out, and it's difficult to change gears. The tractor gets used daily, sometimes from dusk to dawn. Temperatures can vary 25 degrees in the early morning hours of winter to 115 degrees in the middle of summer. The tractor is also used for emergency situations such as heavy rains where we need to clear debris and move materials. We would like the new tractor to have an enclosed cabin. We received 4 bids on 3 different brands. We'd like to purchase a case. Fiscal impact is $89,892.05. We request the Board of Directors approve the funding of $89,892.05 from the Repair and Replacement Fund 02670 plus a 2.5% contingency.
I move approval of the purchase of a new tractor as requested from reserve funding.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions from the community?
No.
Board discussion? Just a comment, looks like so it's all-wheel drive tractor, so you can take the rubber out on the road and drive all over like a car, right? You don't have to trail it around, it's not a little
Yeah,
caterpillar.
the current tractor actually gets, it's moved around the community, not on a trailer, it's driven around the community, sometimes all the way from the campground all the way to the golf course maintenance yard, so it gets used quite a lot.
I noticed the 3 of these tractors seem to be around a similar price. How did you select this one?
The Case brand is a good brand. It's not the top of the line. John Deere, and if you depend on who you ask, it's kind of like the Chevy Ford thing. But there's the top of the line, and there's a good solid tractor, and the Case brand is a good solid tractor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no more questions for the board. All in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
6.4, reserve funding for pool deck and plaster replacement.
In 2018, the PO replaced the chairs, loungers, umbrellas at the pool to update its outdated appearance. The decking around the pool and wader pool is in need of replacement. Over the past 5 years, the POA has made large repairs to the deck to keep it usable for our members during pool season. The deck not only has many maintenance issues, including drainage, anti-slip coating peeling off and flaking off, it is 20 years old and having cracking and appearance issues as well. We're proposing replacing the deck to address the major ongoing issues, but also to bring the pool deck into a more modern look with colored concrete, diamond cut expansion joints, acid wash finish. This will consist of rebar and fiber reinforcement. Replace the pool rails, bond beams, and permits. Other items to be done are cantilever coping, deco seal, 1,000 feet of drainage, pour lid drain covers, auto fills for both pools, inspect the plumbing, and also run audio wiring to certain planters since the only speakers currently at the pool are on the pool building. The pool plaster in both pools are bubbling in places and due for replacement. The project includes new depth markers, drain covers, eyelets, steps, racing line marker tiles. The plaster is original in the main pool. Ivor's lifespan for commercial plasters 8 to 10 years depending on care and water chemistry. So we've gotten our use out of the main pool plaster. We would like to incorporate both projects while the pool is closed for winter. We received 3 bids. Fiscal impact project total would be $265,540 plus a 5% contingency. It is requested that the Board of Directors approve the funding of $265,540 from the Repair and Replacement Fund 02670 plus a 5% contingency.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the use of reserve funds or the repair and replacement fund in the amount of $265,540 plus 5% for the pool deck and plaster replacement project.
There's a second.
Second.
Any questions from the community?
No, sir.
Board comments? Board discussion? I'm just glad we're getting it done. We were working to try to get done last year, and we had some delays, so the pool people do come up to me on occasion and say, could you get us a new deck? This one's looking kind of rough, so I'm glad we're getting through this, and we're getting it this winter.
I have one question.
Okay.
Steve, one of the bidders included a project scope of work. Is this the same scope of work that they all bid on?
Correct. I included in the bid because they all got the same scope of work, and that was issued by the POA.
That was issued by?
The POA.
Okay, excellent, thank you. I just trying to look through them, I couldn't tell that they were all the same, but you've had a chance to do that and sort that out. Okay, thank you.
No more board discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried. Yes.
Just had to turn my microphone on.
Oh.
Okay, 30-day reading, access control for community events policy, 6.5. Lynn?
Yes, sir. Good evening. So the background on this is over the past few months, management has been in the process of updating some of our forms and policies. This is mostly in regards to the sanctioned clubs and the committees that use the facilities and amenities. With the update that we sent out recently to all the sanctioned clubs to start the renewal process, this was one of the forms that we needed to update in regards to their requirements for resanctioning. So it is requested that the Board of Directors approve this revised policy to coincide with our current forms and documents that we use for clubs and committees requesting access. So if you go through the policy, you can see some of the red line changes that were made. We're including CLPOA hosted events, activities, and banquets. It just kind of listed sponsored events, so that was a minor change. Then we just changed some of the language on officer and designee. And then the other main change was this, we changed the form that they sign, because what this essentially is issuing a tract and lot to these groups so they can call in guests for their events. So we had to change some of this language here. We're still keeping the Little League policy in effect. That's a separate policy. We were not making any changes to that. Anybody have any questions?
Actually, I do have one question for you, and it
Yes,
had to do, it's the existing policy, so it's not the new changes, but you say a guest pass permits parking in the event common area, designated event parking area, or immediate streets surrounding the location in which the event is occurring. Vehicles parked outside of these areas will be subject to citation. Do we provide a map for the events to show this is your parking area? You can't park outside of it, or? what do you do?
Generally, on the large events, we do have printed maps. Some of that came up from when there was complaints about parking in the amenities and availability, so we were trying to designate it. This was a prior request, just to try to designate the parking. So we do provide maps and plans for a lot of the bigger events.
Thank you, that's what I wanted
You're
to hear.
welcome. Oh, and the passes also say the location that they're supposed to be going to. So if it's the lodge, it'll say the lodge, golf field, et cetera. So, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the policy and procedures and guidelines change related to access control for community events as presented. Second.
Any community discussion?
No, sir.
Any board discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, 6.6, 30-day reading. I'm going to modify the 30-day reading and let you, it's now a 28-day reading because the law has changed. So 28-day reading for a tree rule revision. Cheryl.
Good evening. Staff and the ACC committee is requesting for the board to approve a revision to our current rule for PC 8.4 under trees. In all of the CCNRs, it basically states that before a tree can be removed at a certain diameter, and it basically talks about 3 inches measured at a point of 12 inches above the ground, needs to have the express approval of the committee. So what we're doing right now is requesting the board to put in this 28-day reading to be able to revise the actual rule that states that they have to ask for permission, which, and hence to have to do that, they would have to actually have a permit. So the Planning Compliance Department is going to create a permit specifically just for the removal of trees. And in our justification, the only real reason why a tree should be removed are for a few reasons. It's a hazard. It could be a hazard to the roads. It could be a hazard to neighboring properties or its own property. It can be a diseased tree, or it could also be a tree that probably is like in jeopardy of hurting other trees or other items. So what staff and the committee is requesting is that the board go ahead and approve for this 30-day or 28-day reading for the revision of the tree rule.
Okay, I move approval of the 28-day reading of revision to PC 8.4 trees as presented.
Second.
I just have a question. We're talking about trees. Is this trees in the front yard, trees in the setback, every tree on the property?
That's a very good question. It doesn't specify whether it's in the front or the back. It just specifies any tree to be removed. That is in the diameter specified in the rule.
So the announcement to the community is any tree over 3 inches
Yes.
needs to have a permit to remove.
Correct.
Okay. Any other board comments?
Any discussion from the audience?
Any discussion from the audience?
No, sir.
Well, let me just say that for the benefit of the folks that are watching on camera, that this is something that I think is extremely important because the trees are part of what makes Canyon Lake very special and very different among a lot of things from the surrounding communities. All you have to do is get on a hill and look around and see that the trees and the greenery that we have and the vegetation that we have and the wildlife it attracts gives us our special character. We're over 50 years old now, and we have trees that are that age. We have clubs that have dedicated themselves to planting trees around here to make this place the way it is. I think that many of us came and were attracted to how Canyon Lake looks. And while it seems odd to not allow someone to do what they want to do with their trees, at the same time, there's a community benefit of all of us protecting the trees that we have. And that's why I think it's important that we clarify this. It was something that the original developers of Canyon Lake envisioned, and that's why it's written in our CCNRs, and it just needs to be clarified what it means to get approval and what the consequences are if you take a tree out when you're not supposed to. So I feel very strongly about this. I'm very much in support of it and look forward to hearing from the community if anyone has any special concerns about it. Thank you.
I have one more comment. I want to put a pool in my backyard. I've got a tree right in the middle of my pool. What do I have to do?
You would have to actually fill out the application and the plan and submit it to the committee, and they would look it over, and then they would discuss it.
So there's a good chance I could put my pool in, or do you think?
I think what the intent of it is that if you're going to remove some trees, we want to be able to replace the tree. So if there is a tree that must be removed so that you can improve your land, then that would be beneficial to your land and also to the community. But in lieu of that, you would want to replace that tree somewhere. And so I believe that's the intent of this rule, is to continue to keep with the beauty of our neighborhood of the 50-year-old trees. Because if you look around in the newer neighborhoods, it's pretty sparse and it doesn't look as pretty as Canyon Lake Lake does, and that was the reason why I believe the intent of this rule.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a question too, so don't get up yet. I believe we have a rule where we have to have 2 trees in our front yards.
That is correct.
So what if we already have 2 trees and we just want to remove this one tree because we don't like it anymore? So this, to me, seems in conflict with the rule that we only need to have 2 trees.
Okay, so in the front yard, we're talking about specifics of trees all over the place. You have to have the minimum of at least 2 trees in your front yard. If you have more trees, that's all the better. Now, if you want to remove a tree, there would have to be a pretty good reason for the committee to be able to approve a tree to be removed. And so that's what we're doing this rule for, is that to bring it to the attention of the committee, this is what you would like to do, and then come up with your plan of why you want to do it, and then the committee would then decide if it can be done. And then if that's the case that they don't want, or they say yes, they may ask you to put in another tree at another location.
So does this policy here create a conflict with our other policy requiring 2 trees?
No, because I believe that the trees we're talking about are not just the front. There's a requirement of having at least the 2 trees in the front so that we have, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure, other than the fact that the rule basically states that you have to have 2 trees. If you go down the community, if you see a property that doesn't have any trees, it looks pretty sparse and doesn't look as pretty as a tree that, with properties that have 2 trees. Your question is, will it be in conflict? In my opinion, I don't believe it's in conflict, because we're talking about removing existing trees that are already here, not removing trees that are not existing. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think I would just request that you look at the 2 policies and make sure that there's not a conflict, because in my mind, there's a conflict. If you're telling me I can't remove a tree, say I have 10 trees in my front yard and I want to remove 1, I don't understand why I wouldn't be allowed to remove that one. For whatever reason, I want to remove it if our other policy states that you just have to have a minimum of 2 trees in your front yard. So in my mind, there's a conflict.
Any more questions from the board or comments? We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, 6.7, Susan, Reserve Fund Reimbursement Transfer.
Yes, once a year, we true up our reserve funds and our operating fund. We have 3 reserve funds at Schwab Investment Company, and the checks are cut out of our operating fund, which is at Seacoast Commerce Bank. So when the checks are cut out of accounts payable for the reserve funds, we do accounting entries to keep track of those expenditures. And then once a year, we actually physically transfer money so that we true up the accounts on the books. This is a request to move funds from Fund 2 to Fund 1 of $75,000, from Fund 1 to Fund 3, which is the road reserve, of $1,406,39, and from Fund 5 to Fund 1 to reimburse the fund is $147,820. Staff recommends that the Board of Directors approve the submitted transfer.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the transfers, and I reiterate, these are just transfers of funds that are not loans, they're not borrowings, they're just moving money from account to account to true them up to the right locations. So approve that we make the transfers as noted by Susan from funds 1, 2, and 5.
I'll second.
Any community questions? Any community comments?
No.
Board comments? I just have a comment. I know the road reserve, we're probably going to move more than one group of money over a year. We can anticipate, I believe our paving project was $2 million.
The recent receipts,
Yeah, I think
funds received.
yeah, well, I think our bid for the whole project was about 3 million. So you're pulling out 1.04 for probably phase one?
No, we're putting from operating fund where we've collected, so the assessment collections also go into operating. So we did not spend enough in this fiscal year. So we're moving from operating to the road reserve, the $1.4 million, and it will reside there until you decide to initiate that road project.
Okay, I know we're spending a lot of money on the roads right now, is kind of anticipating that we would, I mean, it's
It
fine.
hasn't come through
I just
yet,
want to
yeah.
understand. So when I see the money moving back and forth, my anticipation was the money would be moving to go out, and it looks like this is money we've collected, it's going back into reserves, and at some point, it'll come back out as they start billing us for the significant amount of the paving project. Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, 6.8, approval resanction of the Canyon Lake Clubs. Lynn Jensen?
Sure. Good evening again. Okay, I'll try to go through the summary here. So the CLPA has sent out a notice to all the clubs recently. We've received several requests back from the Canyon Lake clubs requesting approval to request resanctioning for the next 3 years. As per the Sanction Club policy, the attached list of clubs have submitted the following documents. What's required is an application, a club damages agreement, the gate access agreement, which was the prior policy that we were discussing, the club roster, their bylaws, meeting minutes, and a letter of community service. Under the fiscal impact here, I just kind of gave an overview summary. Use of the amenities and common areas are approved annually by the board with the annual calendar of special events. The costs are associated for these events and, the costs associated for these events and activities are reviewed when the annual calendar is approved. Each club has varied costs based on the location of the event being held, as well as any costs incurred by the POA for use of the facility and amenities or administrative costs overseeing and assisting the club. However, the clubs do pay portions of their costs associated, so it's a budgeted item, so there's an exact amount to this. So it's recommended that the Board of Directors review the attached list of club requests and approve or reject their resanctioning as attached. However, staff is still reviewing all of the rosters, so the contingency on this approval request is that we have a chance to verify all the membership rosters for each of the clubs, and then the sanctioning would be for a 3-year period. I did put the date, however, it would just be for a 3-year period this year. Just as a side note, we received 19 applications from the clubs currently requesting approval. We have 67 groups that we consider a sanctioned club on our list. 46 of them are active, 14 of them are slightly inactive, and 14 of them are active groups, and 7 of them are inactive. So we're going to be in the process of doing this renewal the next couple of months. But currently today before you is 19 requests. Oh, and it's not in this packet.
Can you describe the benefit of being a club? I mean,
Sure. So in the Sanction Club policy, it talks about some of the requirements, as I mentioned, and then some of the benefits that the clubs receive for being a sanctioned club. You're recognized by the POA and have the following benefits for the term of sanctioning. Some of the things that you get are this annual calendar of scheduling of club functions beginning November 1 for the next calendar year. So currently, a lot of people have submitted all their requests for this next calendar year. Based on our current policy, clubs have a higher priority than the general public submitting the request. So that's one big benefit of being a sanctioned club. You receive discounts on use of the facilities. You receive use of POA equipment or staff support based on the costs estimated during the request. You receive advertisement and communication support from our communications staff and activities staff. And then we also list you in all of our publications. So most notably, Canyon Lake Living, we have a lot of our club things in here. So we really do try to promote the clubs. This is part of the POA club agreement, I guess, if you will, of we're here to service them and they're here to provide these things, so we have this working relationship. So we request these items to continue that, and then the POA provides this.
So let's talk the other side of the fence, and that's what happens if I was a sanctioned club yesterday and I don't come in and get sanctioned within the next couple weeks?
Okay, so like I said, we've gotten 19 so far of the 46 very active, and of the 67 total groups. We're going to send out a final 30-day reminder this week, letting clubs know that they have 30 days to submit their application for requests, bring the remaining applications to the board next month. At that point, the clubs that have not submitted, we are not going to confirm your calendar dates for next year. Staff is diligently trying to work on our calendar, and we have thousands of things that we're scheduling, so it's imperative that clubs get their applications in so we can confirm events once we get your club resanctioning. We want to work with the groups, and we know a lot of them are still gathering their information, but we request that they submit it. Ultimately, once the final approvals are done, those that have not been approved will not be resanctioned, and they will not have their calendar confirmed until that gets squared away. There's been questions by clubs. They've contacted me personally and activities to inquire about not meeting the requirements on this list. We'll have to take each of those on a case-by-case basis. The board reviews the application. We do anticipate that we're going to have some varied modifications to our policy, but that's going to have to also be addressed separately. So currently, we're taking in club applications and packets as required per the current sanctioned club policy. Any modification to that will have to be done separately. So if you do have questions for all the clubs, please contact me personally. I've been mostly working on this with the activities staff, but feel free to call me. My extension's 215. My email's listed on the website. I'm happy to help you. Thank you.
I just want to stress the last part. She's happy to help you.
Be happy to help you, yes.
Yes, if you have any questions.
Honestly, yes, and we do appreciate our clubs. I know that we've had a lot of turmoil, we'll say this year with clubs. We appreciate our clubs greatly. You volunteer a lot, and I got to work with the clubs for a lot of years, so I greatly appreciate you. However, we do need to get this process started because we are trying to work on our calendar, and there is money associated with all this in the POA budget, so it's important that we get this squared away. We've been working on it for a long time. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
We received information that Lynn has referred to about the 19 clubs that submitted and have found that 17 of the 19 are satisfactory. 2 clubs we'd like to table approval of, the Family Golf Club and the Homeowners Club. We want to give them one more chance to give us all the information that we need. So I'd like to move that we approve sanctioning for the remaining 17 clubs, which includes the Ski Club, Roadrunners, Brownie Troop 1735, Triathlon and Fitness Club, SoCal Skiers, Pickleball Club, Co-ed Softball, Lions Club, Homeowners Club is tabled, sorry, Tennis Club, Chair Volleyball, Coraliers, Women's Club, Women's Golf Club, Car Club, Fine Arts Guild, and Cub Scouts number 346.
I'd like the subsidiary motion to agree to all of that, except we have 2 other clubs that haven't met the criteria. Family Golf and Homeowners both have a column of a required submission item that say no, so I would like to add them to the list of clubs that we pull and approve the other 15 that you mentioned.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I had said that Family Golf and Homeowners, I didn't mean for them to be included. That's what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry. I got that wrong.
So the 4 to pull would be Family Golf, Little League, Homeowners, and Men's Golf, and the other 15 to approve.
Okay, so just to
I think
clarify.
there's 21, so if you took off
Correct,
4.
there was
you said-
20, I'm sorry, my apologies, Board. There was 21 total. Little League and men's golf were not included. Their packets were not included because we were waiting for additional information. So I only counted 19 in my count that I gave you.
Okay, so if the Little League and men's golf are not part of this list that I'm looking at,
Correct.
they're
yes.
off, then the other two, I would say, poll is family golf and homeowners.
Correct.
So that would leave
And then the other
7.
thing, in the approval, we're talking about a 3-year period effective December 3rd. I'd like to modify that to say a 3-calendar year period of 2020, 21, and 22 for all of these clubs.
Would you like to modify your motion to include all those amendments? Then you could second.
I would like to make it a subsidiary.
We never had a second. so
A second on, I would like to make a subsidiary to what Tom did, and that's a subject to the verification of membership. I don't think that was included. So,
I can second both of those.
I have a first and a second. Tom, I think you agree with my motion, so all in favor?
We're good with that, and I would say, I agree with everything. We, subject to the verification of the membership, as that was written in our thing, but we didn't say that. So
Right.
that was part of the actual verbal record.
Okay, so any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 in favor, motion carried.
That was painless. That was all our board activities. So now the members have a chance to come up and talk about non-personnel issues. And Harmony, do we have anyone that would like to talk?
Yes, sir. Our first is Rita Rolas.
Hello, Rita.
Okay, can you hear me? Rita Robles, 3846-223. Okay, I wrote it down so I can be fast. Okay, dog park. I understand through others that our dog park will be starting construction in mid-December. We have asked to see the plans as well as to be invited to participate and give some input on the planning of our park, since we know firsthand all the issues that concern us. So with this said, I would like to reiterate our main concerns. We are asking for just the basics, the safety of our dogs as well as their owners. Flooded areas in and around the park corrected. DG in the large dog park area. In the large dog park area, the DG has been installed incorrectly. The DG gets on all the toys and balls as they play, as well as the DG in their water bowls. I have a fine example. This is basically in one day, the balls get just full of sand. And basically what I do is in the mornings I go and I wash the balls, so they don't have to be ingesting them as they do. Okay, and here we go. The DG gets on the toys and balls as they play, as well as on the DG in the water bowls. In the summer, the DG gets very hot, embeds in their nails, cuts their pads on their paws. When the dog plays or it's windy, the DG dust blows and we are all inhaling it. DG is a known carcinogen. In the winter, it gets wet and it gets on everything, our dogs, clothes, shoes, cars, etc. We would also like a hose bib that could reach both sides of the park and hopefully some more sturdy benches. And that's about it. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jack Walmsley.
Good evening, Board. One thing I'll bring up real quick, they brought up the fact of trees. I'm very concerned that we don't take care of our tree coming in on the main gate. Those huge pine trees are probably 50 years old. The one tree that I'm concerned about is the one on the very end. As you come in, that tree is right now on about a 30-degree angle. It is a huge tree. It's 50 foot tall. That falls on somebody, we've got a dead person. And I think we really need to work on those trees to make sure that they're not a danger. And especially the one on the end. It's pulling on the roots on the side. It's upgrading part of the curb, and it's just overgrown for that particular position. So I'd like to see us take a hard look at that. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I think I brought it up before, but I'd like to see us consider changing our buoys from blue lights to red lights, and I'll tell you why. It's a matter of history. About a little over 100 years ago on the East Coast, they were working on colors for buoys and dangerous situations. They tried yellow, they tried blue, they tried red, they tried all these different colors. Only one color would come through on fog and other things. The other night I was on my porch. I could not see the lake for the fog. I couldn't see any buoys either. And I think it doesn't cost us much to get the right color, and that should be a red buoy. And some people have mentioned, well, you know, it's not a big danger, it's not on the ocean and so on. If you have people in your boat and you hit a buoy, you can knock somebody overboard in a hurry. And I've been involved in some of that kind of stuff in my years in the fire department. And I just think that it's best for us, not only from a legal standpoint, but have the best protection that we can in case somebody would hit one of our buoys and so on. Now, I'd like to see us change to the red. Of course, the lighthouse, I've always thought that should be red. I don't know why we changed it to blue. But anyway, I'd like to make a recommendation to that. And especially the tree. They brought up the trees, and that kind of rang a bell with me because I've been thinking about that tree for some time. So I would invite the board members, drive down, you come in the main gate, you look at that last tree and you can see how it is tipped over, and like I say, it's about 50 feet tall. And big wind come through, that thing's coming down. And that's all I had, unless you had any questions.
Well, good, thank you, Jack. So I'm sure staff will take a look at the tree for you, make sure that
Jack, we have plans to address all those pine trees and re-landscape all those medians. It's been on our radar for like a year already.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Eric, and I hope it happens quick. This is winter time, and trees are ripping up all over this. In fact, I just got a call today. We've got a meeting with flood control Thursday with reference to problems that we think are coming on. So I know that if you say you're taking care of it, I'm positive it'll be taken care of. Thank you.
Harmony, any more?
No, sir.
Okay, we're going to move on to report of executive session. Lynn?
Okay, hello again. Today's executive session was called to order at 1 p.m. Items discussed on the agenda included 3 member-related items. There was an update provided from legal and 2 additional legal discussion items. There was 6 third-party contract discussion items, and 3 personnel matters were discussed during today's meeting. The meeting concluded at 5:45 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Association reports. Bill, we're going to bring you on up. Are you out there? Is Bill out there? There he is, yeah. We're moving you to the top, so.
Good evening, board. Not much to discuss today. Just wanted to, with the holidays coming up, just want to make sure everyone knows that we will have some extra staff out there to make sure that people get into the community as quickly and easily as possible. We have the boat parade coming, we have the golf cart parade coming, We have Christmas Eve, of course, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve, and we will have extra staff available for all of these days. So if you have any questions or issues regarding gate entry, please give us a call. And also one reminder, please use the e-pass. I've noticed that that hasn't been used as much as we had anticipated, but it makes it so much easier and faster for your guests to get in. And that's it.
Thank you. We have a couple questions for you.
Not necessarily a question, just a thank you for putting the additional statistics in that you've given us about gate entries. I think it's extremely important information about how many people are coming through our gates, how many passes are issued, guest entries. It numbers in the tens of thousands, and our RFID entries by gates is well in excess of 120,000. And I think that's important information for us all to have and to consider as we think about the changes that are going on to improve our security. The other thing you provided us is the amount of time that we experience excessive traffic and cars backing up into the intersection. And it tallied, you have a number here of 83 minutes for the entire month of October. And during that time, the report says that you open the center guest lane to be guests and also issuing passes to try to relieve that pressure. But I thought it was very instructive that that occurrence, which seems to cause a lot of interest and a lot of concern, didn't occur very much in October. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like in November and December when we have the holidays. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on by association reports. Can we have corporate counsel?
Thank you. Good evening. We're pleased to announce that the association has reached a partial settlement in the lawsuit that they had filed known as Canyon Lake Properties Association versus Hardy and Harper. This is the litigation that was filed with respect to the premature failure of the pavement and roadways within the community. The association has reached a settlement with two of the defendants in the litigation, Hardy and Harper, which was the general contractor for the road rehabilitation project, and Albert A. Webb and Associates, which was the project engineer. The total amount of the settlement for these two entities was $5.5 million. The court has approved the settlement as being a settlement in good faith. The association now is continuing to prosecute its lawsuit against the remaining defendants, those being R.J. Noble and All American Asphalt. These were the two entities that were the suppliers and manufacturers of the asphalt. If the matter is not settled with these two entities, the matter will proceed to trial on May 15th, 2020. So this has been a long process, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We have the partial settlement, and if we don't reach a settlement with the remaining parties, we will proceed to trial on May 15th. We'll also put a statement out on the association's website summarizing what I've just indicated to all of you. Thank you for your patience and happy holidays.
Okay, thank you. That's, to me, very good news. I'm going to hand over to Eric for his comments. I think he's going to continue with some road issues.
Thank you. Okay, where do I start with my writing here? As Jordan mentioned, the city, there's a ton of things going on this month, so I'm just going to highlight a few of them. The city, as Jordan mentioned, the city has a winter wonderland and tree lighting this Thursday night, also sponsored by Family Matters. That's from 4 to 9 on Thursday. Canyon Lake Women's Club has a holiday home tour on December 7th. The golf cart parade and toy drive is Sunday, December 8th. Ugly Sweater Party at the Country Club, Friday, December 13th. So Ugly Sweater and Friday 13th. I don't know about that. What could happen, right? Saturday, December 14th, Ski Club Breakfast with Santa. Also Saturday, December 14th, the boat parade. And the Lighthouse is having a New Year's Eve bash. You can purchase tickets here at the lodge for $50. And we've talked a little bit about this. Mandatory RFID is coming. If you haven't picked up or read at Canyon Lake Living, we go into pretty good detail about what the changes are going to be. Off the top of my head, I think the first gate is North Gate on January 13th, and a month later we will go to East Gate. A month following we'll go to Main Gate, and the idea is that your annual, yearly window decal, if you have a 2020 decal, when that expires, you will be issued an RFID tag and a permanent parking pass. So there's tons of details. We're going to be doing tons of marketing about this, and I think we're even reminding people that this is coming at the LED signs at the gate. So if you don't have RFID now, please get it. Just come to the POA and pick up your free transponder, and we'll even apply it for you. Also, in your agendas, there's a lot of good information. There always is. On PDF page 88, Lynn's scrolling through some of these. There's a really good communications report this month from our communications and marketing department. Tiffany and David are basically that department, and they do an incredible amount of work for two people. And if you want to take the time and look at the agenda, PDF page 88, you can find it on the website. You'll see their marketing plan for the year, and all kinds of statistics and demographics and statistics about how our social media is performing, and they do a lot of promotions, and I just think I want to point out that report because they did a really good job this month. As usual, I suggest you read the operations report. That department's very busy this year with all the events and everything else we have going on. Just a few highlights this month. We're now selling propane at Happy Camp. So if your RV, your barbecue, your heater needs propane, we sell it there. It's pretty convenient, especially during desert season. Operations has also done erosion control and improvements at the North Ski area. The paving project is going well. Yesterday, or was it yesterday or today? Galt Field. Okay, so today we paved Galt Field, Operations, Yard, and the North Ski area. We had planned to do Holiday Harbor tomorrow, but it's forecast for rain, and we can't grind it and pave it before the rain, so we're going to postpone that a few days. The dog park will be starting this month. And Rita, we published the plans. The plans haven't changed, just the location of where the small dog park is going to be has changed. You're aware of that. If you want to sit down and go over the plan again, we're happy to show it to you anytime. But it's the same thing we published here on this screen months ago. Eastgate, we're currently remodeling and creating a new entry monument with signage that will match the main gate, and be just like the main gate without the lighthouse. Same lettering, same lighting, same stone. And as legal mentioned, really good news, we received a substantial settlement from two of the parties in our road litigation lawsuit, and we're already working on plans and specs to put that pavement project out to bid and take that money and go repair our streets and put them in the condition that they should be in. And that's all I have this month, and happy holidays.
Staff reports is written, that's in the package. Okay, board comments.
December, lots going on, like Eric said. So we have, if you have a holiday favorite, it's probably happening here this month. The Canyon Lake Living magazine has a lot of that stuff listed and details about it. So definitely check that out on the website. Want to point out today, we got between our staff here, our department representatives, we got 18 people sitting at this table, and we started the meeting with 14 people here. and 8 of them left after they did the club donation. So we ended up with 6 of you. Jordan just left, so sorry Jordan's not here, but thank you for coming. We wish that we could get more people to actually come to these meetings and be part of the process. We hope that that'll happen as we go down the road, and we can encourage people to come down here and express their opinions or dislikes or whatever it might be. But this is a fairly big production to put on for 6 people. So hopefully we can change that in the future. But everybody have a happy holiday, and thank you.
Well, I just want to thank staff and legal and everybody that was involved in getting this lawsuit settled as far as it's been settled. I think that's a huge achievement. I know it took a lot of time, but I think it's wonderful, so thank you very much. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy all the other holidays that I can't remember off the top of my head, so we'll see you guys back here in January.
Just want to add a little bit to what Tom was saying about the people that are here. Thank you for being here. It's a lot easier to do this in front of an audience. I have this feeling that there's this crowd of people out there that like to sit in front of their televisions and watch this show. That's where my wife is, watches it religiously. I think that it's really important as we move through this more digital, virtual age that we communicate with you and we hear from you. And please email us at a board or email us individually and communicate your thoughts to us, because that is just as important to us, I believe, as hearing from you in open session. Thank you for those of you that voted and helped us through the election. Of course, we were disappointed that we couldn't get all the things done that we wanted to get done. I personally respect the community's decision not to extend the terms to 4 years, and I understand the reasons why that might be. I think that we accept that, and of course we have to, but I think we need to look, and we will be looking at ways to streamline the election and orientation process so that we don't lose 6 months a year because of that election process. And then I'd like to say happy holidays to all of you, and we'll see you next year.
I just want to thank Eric and the POA staff for the job that they've done this past year and even prior to that. But being on the board has been a real pleasure to work with this group of people. And I think, they deserve a whole lot, because there's a lot of stuff goes on in here that I did not know until I got on the board. So it's a very complex community, but we're very successful because of our POA staff. On that, wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you all for being here, and have a happy holiday, and the staff, you guys too. I want to talk about the RFID process. We're going to go kind of a permanent RFID at the gates. People are saying, well, if there's a lot of scenarios that could create problems. The staff and the security is going to make sure the gates flow. So if the gates get jammed up and it's because the RFIDs being a problem, we will work with the community to make sure people can get in. But what we need from the community is for all the members and everyone that's eligible to get the RFID. We believe that if everyone does go to RFID, we can save a significant amount of money, probably somewhere in the range of $200,000. So that's $1 million in 5 years. We could do a lot of dog parks. We could do a lot of tennis courts. We could do some pickleball courts. We could do a lot of things with $1 million. And all that to get that $1 million recovered. What we really need is everybody to go get the RFID. And again, as people come through the gates in the busy holidays and the busy events that we have here, that the guards are not going to say, oh, sorry, we're only stuck doing this one process. On those crazy busy event days, we will work, because we have a lot of guests to get in, and we will work with those guests to get them in. But on your typical day, please, the RFID policy will be in place, so please take advantage and go down. The cost is free. The POA is open Saturday mornings till 2? Oh, Saturday morning and a little bit in the afternoon till 2. So if you work all week, you can get down on Saturday. Go in, they'll be glad to help you put that on your car. So that should be helpful. The e-pass is also available. That's where you can basically email your guests to come in. When they come to the gate and they show their e-pass, instead of taking a minute to get a pass out of the security, they should be able to get a pass in about 15 seconds. So if we can cut speed the cars to 4 times as many going through the gate in a minute, that means that line at the gate will be short for everybody, for guests, for members, and for guests even without the e-pass. So please do do go, and when you go on the software or go on the application, do send the parties the e-pass. It shows up on their phone. They can print it. They do still have to have a driver's license, but we can get you moved through the gate about 4 times quicker with e-pass. So please do that. Excited about the roads. We've been getting, the community as a whole is concerned that the roads are deteriorating since the roads were evidence in the case, and since the funding wasn't exactly committed. We struggled with the roads, but now we have enough of the lawsuit settled where the evidence is, we believe, is okay, so we can go ahead and we have the funding to go out and do the basic corrections to the road, and that's going to be a huge thing, because if we don't get the roads fixed in too many seasons, it could become a really big problem. I appreciate Eric and his effort to go ahead and get the road work done. So that's it.
Can I say one more thing? I forgot. It's called old age. I just want to give a huge shout out to Steve Schneider and his staff as well. They do an absolutely fantastic job. If you guys ever read their reports that are at the end of our packets here, it's amazing what they get done every month. So good job.
Okay, we are very fortunate today that we don't have any architectural appeals, right, Cheryl? None are coming up, so we usually recess at this point so we can come back for round 2. There's going to be no round 2 tonight. The next meeting is going to be a month from now, Tuesday, January 7th. It will be the executive session at 1. Tuesday, January 7th will be at 7 o'clock for the regular session here in the Holiday Bay Room. Other than that, again, the staff will be here afterwards if you need to talk to them. The board will be here. So do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.